Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Easy English Podcast. I am Hana, and as always, I am here with my wonderful co-host, Alex. Today, we have a very funny, slightly awkward story to share with you. It is all about a package, a neighbor, and a big mix-up. How are you doing today, Alex?
Hi, Hana, and hello to all our listeners around the world. I am doing great, though I am still laughing a bit when I think about what happened yesterday. You know, sometimes the simplest things in life, like getting the delivery, can turn into a whole comedy show.
Oh, absolutely. It was quite a situation. Let us tell our listeners how it all started. Yesterday afternoon, I was waiting for a very important delivery. It was a box of special books I ordered online. I knew the delivery driver might arrive early, or he might arrive late. You can never really know with these things, right?
Exactly. You always say that delivery times are a big mystery. You may get your package at 9 in the morning, or you might have to wait until 8 at night. So you were sitting at home waiting. Did you go anywhere?
No, I did not go anywhere. I decided to stay inside all day. I did not even go to the kitchen to make coffee because I did not want to miss the knock on the door. But then, around 3 o'clock, I checked my phone. I saw a notification. It said, "Your package was delivered successfully." But Alex, there was no package at my door.
Oh, the classic invisible delivery. That is the worst feeling. You are sitting there waiting patiently, and the app tells you it's already done. What did you do next? Did you go look for it?
Yes, I did. I had to go outside and check the main lobby. I thought, okay, maybe the driver did not want to climb the stairs. He might have left it downstairs. So I went down. I looked everywhere. I went to the mailboxes. I went to the front desk, but nothing was there. I was so confused.
I remember you called me then. You did not tell me what the package looked like. You just said, "Alex, my books are gone." You sounded so worried. Sometimes people say things when they are panicked, and it makes the situation sound even bigger.
I know. I should not tell you things in a panic, but I really thought someone stole it. Then I decided to go back up to my floor. As I walked past my neighbor's door, Mr. Thomas in apartment 4B, I noticed something. There was a big cardboard box sitting right on his doormat.
Ah, the plot thickens. Did you go closer to check the name on the box?
I did. I had to go very quietly because I did not want him to think I was snooping. I looked at the label, and indeed, it had my name on it in big, bold letters. The driver had delivered my package to the wrong door. Now, you might think the easy solution is just to grab the box and go back to my apartment, right?
Well, yes, if it has your name on it, it is yours. But I know you, Hana. You do not just grab things and go. You always worry about what people might say if they see you.
Exactly. I thought if I just take it, Mr. Thomas might open his door at that exact second. He might see me taking a box from his doormat and think I am a package thief. That would be so awkward. I did not want to look suspicious.
So instead of just taking it, you decided to go knock on his door, which in hindsight might have made things even more complicated.
It really did. I knocked on the door. Mr. Thomas opened it. He is a very nice older man, but he is a bit hard of hearing. I pointed at the box on his floor and said, "Hi, Mr. Thomas. This package was delivered to your door, but it actually belongs to me." But he did not hear me correctly. He thought I was trying to sell him something.
Oh no. What did he say to you?
He looked at the box, then looked at me and said, "No, thank you. I do not want to buy any books today." I tried to tell him again. I said, "No, Mr. Thomas, I am not selling books. This is my package. The delivery man made a mistake." But he just shook his head. He said, "You may try the next building. They might want some."
That is hilarious. He really thought you were a traveling book salesperson. Did you try to show him the name on the address label?
By the way, if you are enjoying this story, taking a second to subscribe or leave a thumbs up really helps our podcast reach other English learners around the world.
It really does.
And please write any questions you have in the comments because we love reading and answering them. Anyway, back to our runaway package.
I did. I had to go down on my knees, point to the label, and say my name very loudly. I said, "Look, Mr. Thomas, it says Hana. I live in 4A. Finally, he understood. His face went completely red, and he started laughing so hard. He said, "Oh, my eyes are not what they used to be. I thought you were a very polite salesperson who brought her own delivery box to show off."
That is so sweet and funny at the same time. At least he was nice about it. Many neighbors might get annoyed if someone knocks and shouts at their door, but Mr. Thomas is always very kind, even when there is a misunderstanding.
He really is. But the story does not end there. While we were laughing, he said, "Well, since you are here, you must go inside and have some tea." Now, I did not want to be rude, but I also really wanted to go back to my apartment and open my books. I thought I might stay for 5 minutes, or I might get stuck there for an hour.
And knowing Mr. Thomas, when you go in for tea, you never leave quickly. He loves to tell stories about his youth. What did you tell him?
Exactly. I knew that if I went inside, I might stay there all afternoon. So I tried to be very careful with my words. I did not want to say no directly because he's so sweet. I said, "Oh, Mr. Thomas, I would love some tea, but I must go upstairs right now because I have a friend waiting for me online." It was a tiny white lie, but I had to say something.
The classic friend online excuse. That is a safe one. Did he believe you, or did he tell you to invite your friend over for tea as well?
Thankfully, he did not say that. He just smiled and said, "Ah, young people and your computers. You always go from one screen to another." He handed me my heavy box, and then he said, "You may go now, but you must promise to come back next week for that tea." I had to say yes to that, of course.
That is a fair deal. So you got your package, you made a date for tea, and you did not have to stay for an hour. But tell me, how did you carry that big box all the way back up to the 4th floor? Did you go by the stairs, or did you use the elevator this time?
Oh, I definitely did not go by the stairs. My arms were already so tired from carrying it down from the 5th floor and then over to his door. I decided to go straight to the elevator. But of course, because my luck was so interesting that day, the elevator was temporarily out of service again. A little sign on the door said, "Out of order for maintenance. Please use the stairs."
Oh no, that is the worst luck ever. So you had to go up 4 flights of stairs with a box full of heavy books? That sounds like a serious workout. I hope you did not drop them.
I did not drop them, thank goodness, but I had to go very slowly. I had to stop on every floor just to take a breath. While I was resting on the 3rd floor, another neighbor, Mrs. Gable, opened her door. She looked at me, looked at the box, and she did not say a word at first. She just stared.
Oh, Mrs. Gable. She is the one who always watches everyone from her window, right? What did she say to you?
Yes, that is her. She finally spoke, and she did not ask if I needed help. Instead, she said, "You should not carry such heavy things. You might hurt your back, and then who will walk your dog?" I told her, "Mrs. Gable, I do not have a dog." And she just shrugged and said, "Well, you might get one someday, and then you won't be able to walk it."
That is amazing logic. She is worried about a future dog that you do not even have yet. People in our building are so wonderfully strange. Did you tell her that you just wanted to go home and read your books?
I did. I said, "I just want to go up to my apartment and open this box." She looked at the box again and said, "You know, you may use my shopping trolley if you want. It is in my hallway. It makes it easier to go up and down." That was actually very kind of her, but the trolley was quite small. My box would not fit inside it.
So what did you tell her? How do you politely say no to a shopping trolley that is too small?
I smiled and said, "Thank you so much, Mrs. Gable. You are very kind to offer. But I think this box might be too wide for the trolley, and I do not want to break it." She nodded and said, "Yes, you might be right. Well, go on then. Don't let me keep you."
Well, at least you had two very friendly interactions, even if they were a bit strange and exhausting. It is always good to talk to neighbors, even when we just want to go quickly to our own rooms. But tell me, when you finally reached your door on the fourth floor, what happened? Did you finally get to open the package?
I did. I finally reached my door, unlocked it with my keys while holding the box with one knee, and went inside. I put the box on the kitchen table, found some scissors, and opened it. And guess what, Alex?
Please don't tell me it was the wrong order. Please tell me the books were actually yours.
They were my books, yes, but there was one extra thing inside the box that I did not order. Right on top of the books, there was a small, colorful envelope. It did not have my name on it. It had Mr. Thomas's name on it. The delivery company had put one of his small letters inside my big box by mistake.
You have got to be kidding me. So after all that walking, talking, and carrying, you had to go back down to his apartment anyway?
Yes! I looked at the letter and I thought I might go back down now or I might wait until tomorrow. But I knew it might be an important letter for him. So I had to put my shoes back on, go out the door, and go back down the stairs to his apartment.
That is unbelievable. But this time, did you knock on his door and finally have that cup of tea he offered earlier?
I did. When I knocked, he opened the door and laughed. He said, "I knew you would come back." I told him about the letter, and he was so happy. I went inside, we had some wonderful chamomile tea, and he told me all about his university days in the 1960s. It was actually a beautiful afternoon, even if it did not go exactly how I planned.
That is a wonderful ending to a very chaotic delivery day. It just goes to show that sometimes when things go wrong, they actually lead to a really nice memory with the people around us.
It really did. But you know, Alex, the funny thing is, the next morning, I woke up and realized I had another small problem. I went to the kitchen to make some breakfast, and I looked out the window. There was a different delivery truck parked right outside, and the delivery driver was holding a massive box. I thought to myself, oh no, please do not let that driver go to my door again. But of course, he walked straight toward our building. I had a strong feeling that this package might be for Mr. Thomas this time, or it might be for me. I just could not tell.
Oh, please tell me you did not have to go through the whole game again. Did the driver actually knock on your door this time, or did he go straight to Mr. Thomas?
Well, my doorbell rang about 2 minutes later. I opened the door, and the delivery driver looked very tired. He did not say good morning or hello. He just looked at his screen and told me, "I have a very heavy box for apartment 4B. And I said, "Well, this is apartment 3B. You need to go up one more floor." But he looked so confused. He told me that his map application said my door was 4B. He actually tried to tell me that I lived on the 4th floor.
He tried to tell you where you live? That is hilarious. You should say to him, "I think I know which floor I live on. Thank you very much." But sometimes those delivery workers are under so much stress that they might lose their way, or they might just want to finish their job quickly and go home.
Exactly. I did not want to be rude, so I did not say anything angry. I just smiled and told him, "If you go up those stairs right there, you will find 4B. The numbers are written very clearly on the wall." He sighed, picked up the giant box, and started to go up. But as he went up, I realized something. Mr. Thomas lives in 4B.
No way. So the giant heavy box was actually for Mr. Thomas.
Do you know what was inside it?
I had no idea at the moment. But I knew that Mr. Thomas is quite elderly and he cannot lift heavy things easily. I thought he might need some help with that. So I decided to go up the stairs after the driver. When I got to the 4th floor, the driver had already left the box in front of Mr. Thomas's door and had gone back down the elevator. Mr. Thomas was standing in his doorway looking at this huge box with a very worried face.
Oh, poor Mr. Thomas. What did he say when he saw you coming up the stairs?
He looked at me and said, "Hannah, I think this box is a mistake. I did not order anything this big." He told me he only ordered a small pair of reading glasses online. He thought the company might have sent him the wrong item, or they might have put someone else's address on his package. He was really worried about it.
That is a classic online shopping mix-up. Sometimes you order a tiny pen and they send you a box the size of a refrigerator. What did you do next? Did you tell him to open it or did you tell him to call the customer service line?
I told him we should look at the label first. We looked closely, and the label did say his name, but the address was slightly different. It had his name, but it had a different apartment number written in tiny letters at the bottom. It was very confusing. I said, "Mr. Thomas, we might want to open the outer box just to see if there is a smaller box inside with your glasses." He agreed, so we carried it into his living room. Well, I carried it, and he held the door open for me. I had to go slowly because it was incredibly heavy.
You are a very good neighbor, Hana. I might have just told him to leave it in the hallway. But go on, tell me what was inside this mysterious heavy box.
We opened the big cardboard box, and do you know what we found? There were tons of plastic air bubbles, and right in the middle, there was a tiny, tiny box. It was about the size of a smartphone. Inside that tiny box were his new reading glasses.
You have got to be kidding me. A giant, heavy box just for one tiny pair of reading glasses? Why on earth was the box so heavy then?
That is the best part. To keep the tiny box from moving around during the delivery, the company had put 3 thick, heavy catalogs of their other products inside the big box. The catalogs were as thick as telephone books. They must have weighed about 5 kilograms.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Why would a company do that? They might think they are helping by sending catalogs, but they're actually just making life difficult for the delivery drivers and the customers. What did Mr. Thomas say?
Oh, he just started laughing. He said, "Well, Hana, at least I can read these giant catalogs now with my new glasses." But then, just as we were laughing, there was another knock on my apartment door. I had to go back to my place to see who it was. I told Mr. Thomas I might be back in a minute, and I ran across the hall. When I opened my door, a different delivery driver was standing there. He looked very tired and hot. He said, "Are you Hana?" And I said, "Yes, I am." Then he pointed to a massive box on his trolley and said, "I have a delivery for you."
No way. Don't tell me you got a giant box too. What was inside yours? Did you order some telephone books as well, or maybe a tiny pair of sunglasses?
I was so confused, Alex. I told him, "I didn't order anything today. You might have the wrong apartment." But he showed me his scanner, and it had my exact name and my exact apartment number. So I had to sign for it. He pushed the box inside my hallway, and let me tell you, it was even heavier than Mr. Thomas's box. My back still hurts from trying to move it. I thought to myself, where did this go wrong? I sat on the floor next to this giant box, just staring at it. I decided I should go and ask Mr. Thomas for help, or at least show him the ridiculous situation.
This is like a comedy movie. So you went back to Mr. Thomas's apartment. Did you tell him about your surprise package?
I did. I went right back over. I said, "Mr. Thomas, you won't believe this, but I think the delivery universe is playing a joke on us today." He put his new reading glasses on and came over to my apartment to inspect the box. We both sat on my hallway floor looking at this massive package. He said we may want to open it immediately to solve the mystery. We didn't want to wait. So I got the scissors again. We cut the tape, opened the top flaps, and we just stared inside. We couldn't believe our eyes.
Come on, Hana. Don't keep me waiting. What was in the box? Did it go completely crazy?
It was full of heavy garden bricks. Red clay garden bricks. There were about 15 of them inside.
Bricks? Why would anyone send you bricks? Did you accidentally order building materials while you were sleeping?
No, I don't even have a garden. I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building with a tiny balcony. Why would I need heavy bricks? But then Mr. Thomas looked at the shipping label again. He said, Hana, look closely here. Below my name, in very light gray print, it said substitute delivery. Then we looked at the tracking number. It turns out my neighbor from apartment 4B, which is upstairs, had ordered these bricks for his balcony flower pots. The delivery company had mixed up our names because we have the same initials, and they went and put my apartment number on the label by mistake.
Ah, that explains it. The poor delivery driver must have been so confused. He had to go up and down the stairs with all those heavy boxes. But tell me, how did you get the bricks to the right neighbor? Did you have to carry them all upstairs?
Thankfully, no. I told Mr. Thomas that my back might actually break if I tried to carry those bricks upstairs. So we decided to call the neighbor from 4B. His name is David. He is a very nice man. When I told him what happened, he felt so bad. He came downstairs immediately with his own trolley. He said, I am so sorry, Hana. I told the company to deliver them to the lobby, but everything went wrong. He was so polite. He even offered to help Mr. Thomas carry his heavy catalogs down to the recycling bin.
That is a great ending to a very chaotic day. It goes to show that even when things go completely wrong with deliveries, having good neighbors makes everything much easier. You, Mr. Thomas, and David really managed to turn a stressful situation into a funny memory.
We really did. We actually ended up sitting in my living room for an hour, drinking tea and laughing about the whole thing. Mr. Thomas was wearing his new glasses, David was happy to have his garden bricks, and I was just glad my hallway was finally empty again. It just goes to show you that you never know what a simple knock on the door might bring.
Exactly. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but they turn out even better. Well, everyone, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Easy English Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this neighborhood adventure. Remember to practice the expressions we used today, especially all those useful phrases with the verb go, and how we use say and tell in everyday stories. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.